Welcome to Morning Brew with Yes, it's your girl Germaine, and we are back here this Monday morning. Yes, and Monday mornings now represent Blacks in Live with Teresa Merritt Watson in studio with us on Mondays to talk about her Blacks in Fact segment. So before we get to her, though, how is everybody doing? We are coming into, oh my gosh, the middle of the month already. But I am celebrating. Look, I got my t-shirt, Aries Gang. Aries Gang. Yes, all month. All month. It's a birthday celebration all month, right? Celebrating those who are actually celebrating their birthdays this month. So happy birthday to all you out there whose birthday is today and you are in Aries. Yes. All right. So what are you guys drinking? Oh, before we do, let me go live on my Instagram. I forgot to start my live. All right, so we are now live over on Instagram. All right, so listen, let's talk about what are we going to be talking about today. I just want to put my little scroll at the bottom. So at any point in any time, you can join our school community, the Morning Brew School community. The link is there, as you can see, scrolling by on the bottom. And you can also listen. If you ever decide you want to just buy a sister a coffee, you can go ahead and buy a sister a coffee. All the donations that come through really help to keep this broadcast going. Okay. Now, on another note, today's brew. I have my coffee. Yes. Today's brew is Say It Anyway. Your voice matters. It does. Your voice matters. So, with that, let's get into this message. Let's get into this message. So many people are sitting on their voices right now. They are. Are you? Yes, I'm going to make this personal to you. It's going to feel like me and you are in a conversation. So, hey, if you want to jump in the comments and join in on the conversations, I welcome that. All right. So, but so many people are sitting on their voice right now, not because they don't have anything to say, but because they're probably questioning, will people understand me? What if I say something wrong? What will they think about me? Yeah, we put a lot of stock into people, but I'm going to be straight up honest with you. There are some voices that probably need to quiet and shut down with all this chaos and confusion that's happening in the world. And just, it's a lot of noise right now. It's a lot of noise out there in the world, a lot of noise. So, but what has God put in you that He is requiring of you to use your voice to speak out loud? Okay, so let's get a little more into this, okay? And also keep this in mind that if you're challenging or thinking about those questions, those things that I just said, what will people understand me? What if I say the wrong thing? What will you think about what I say? If you're challenged thinking about those three questions, well, listen, in that hesitation, voices are being silenced. People, they're a voice that need to be raised up in this season right now. And if you are worried about what the world is saying versus that nudge God is pushing you towards to let your voice be heard, I would go with the latter part, being obedient. Whatever God is saying, because see, He already knows the plans. He already has it mapped out. He already knows who needs to receive it. People, on the other hand, if you consume yourself with the thoughts of what people are saying, you're going to miss out on your own blessing and being a blessing to so many other people. So let's get into this. Here's the truth. Your voice is not random. Your story is not accidental. There is something in you that needs to be expressed. So if you have been laboring with this, pushing it aside, pushing it to the back, and it's constantly showing up, nudging you, sticking you, poking you, like, pay attention. So, good morning, Leslie George. Thank you so much chiming in from sunny Florida. Is it sunny in Florida right now, Leslie? It's supposed to be in the 70s today, but it's overcast up here. It's supposed to be beautiful all week, actually, in the 70s. Crazy weather, but I welcome it. All right, but let's get back into this, all right? If you are struggling with allowing your voice to be heard, allowing your story to be heard, yes, the weather is good. I know sometimes, I miss that Florida weather, especially when the weather is not doing its thing up here. So thanks for always keeping me engaged, though, girl. All right. So let's take a few minutes because I want to get our resident, Teresa Merritt Watson, up with the Blacks in fact for the day. And me and her are just going to chop it up a little and bring you into the conversation. But let's go into this quick segment, which is our pour into purpose. Let's pour a little more, okay? So right now, hey, Teresa, how are you? Hold on one second. I'm going to bring you right back in. I just wanted to give them a sneak peek that you were in studio with us. Hold on. So Teresa yes, she will be back with us with her Black in Fact. So let's talk a little bit about pouring into purpose. Silence can cost more than speaking up. Ooh, that's powerful. When I just thinking about that, have you ever been in a setting and you know what's in you, you need to say it, but you might be a little intimidated by who may be in the room at the time, or, and you really know you need to speak up, but you decide to stay quiet? Listen, keep this in mind. It doesn't matter what level or title a person carries. If God has burdened something on your heart to say in that settings, please learn the art of being obedient to the voice on the inside that's telling you you need to speak to whatever is being said in the room, right? It doesn't matter the amount of money somebody may make over what you make, and they're in that room. A lot of times we shut down. We don't want to speak out because of who's in that space with us. Or you feel like, they're not going to hear me, or they don't want to hear. I've been there. And you know what I realized that's so interesting, and I'm starting to hear it more from people? We have this thing in our mind that, all these people in the room, they're not going to want to hear from me. They're smarter than me and all this stuff. If that's you, if that's something you struggle with, or it's been an issue for you, and you just remain quiet and silence, understand this. Sometimes what we think may not be what's actually reality. Just because a person has amassed a certain amount of wealth or they hold a certain position, it does not mean what you have to say is not important or powerful. Keep that in mind. And just to share a little bit of my story, I found myself in places with leaders. And for some reason, what I had to say, and I had to get the courage to get to this place, because I felt I would shrink in spaces when there were rooms of leaders and I was in that space with them. I would shrink, not realizing the power what God had put in me was the very thing they needed to hear about helping to birth out their visions. And so I had to learn that if I'm in that space, it's because I'm purposed to be in that space. I'm supposed to be in that space. There is something I need to leave in that space, say in that space, do in that space. So I just want to encourage you with that, okay? If you find yourself in that place, whereas you shut down and you're silenced, but God is telling you, I put you here for a reason. Now I need you to speak. All right, let me get back to the pour and the purpose segment. So, like I said, silence can cost more than speaking up. What you don't say can stay trapped inside. Someone may need what you're holding back. Your voice is not just for you, it's for an impact. I had to learn that. I did. I had to learn that the hard way. you know, because it is a loss that you can take when you walk out of that space and you know you were supposed to deposit something, leave something, but you left and now you're carrying it with you. You know, you may never have the opportunity to get back in that space again to share what was supposed to be shared. Ask yourself that question. If I don't say anything and I know I'm supposed to, how much am I going to lose out? What am I forfeiting? Who in that room needed to get that message? You got to ask yourself these questions, even when you finding that you're a little intimidated. What's the worst case scenario? They look at you like you're crazy. Listen, or they tell you, this isn't that time for that. What's the worst case scenario? I don't know. I'm just saying. All right. So you don't need permission to show up. You don't have to be perfect to be heard. That's it. You don't have to hold all these titles to be heard. I know you got so many people out there so stuck on titles and stuff, and they are missing out because they're more consumed about the title that they wear or that they have than they are with the message that's supposed to be given to them. I've been there too. Listen, me and the title thing, I ain't with that. I'm just not. I don't care. I don't care. If God decides he wants to use me to send a message, I'm going to be obedient to whatever he's asking. And it doesn't take a title. It just takes being a representative, showing up as he places me in certain places, right? So a title ain't going to get me into heaven. It's not. Anyway, so let me get back. You don't have to wait until you feel ready. You are already qualified by your experiences. Okay, guys, your voice, this is the final point of purpose. Your voice evolves as you use it. So you grow by speaking, not by waiting. You have to be in the do mode. Do. Lay your hands to it, right? Do. And watch God show up. Or maybe God already has you in the do mode, right? So confidence comes through action. The more you show up, the clearer your voice becomes. All right. All right. So those was just some pour into purpose tips that I can leave with you. But now is the time for me to bring on our Monday's resident. Yes, Blacks in Fact segment with, let me pull it up on the screen. I want to try to be fancy before I bring her up, right? So our Blacks in Fact with Teresa Merritt Watson. She is here with us. So let's get her in studio with us. Hello, Teresa. Oh, hold on. Let me take you off mute. Hold on. Let's get her off mute. Hello, Teresa. We can hear you. Let me hear you now.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. Teresa, doesn't it feel like Monday was just here yesterday? Like we was just at this place a few days ago?
That is so true.
It's
That is
already a
so true.
week. It's already a week,
Yes.
but I'm always glad to have you here. So, hey, you want to open up the segment with our Blacks in Fact for the day? I
Yes.
can play the clip.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
we'll go right into the segment. Okay, so let's add this. Today's Blacks in Fact.
Blacks in, we honor Al Green, born April 13, 1946, in Forest City, Arkansas.
Hold on, y'all. We're going to try that again because I had the wrong screen up. Let's do this again. All right. Let's start this over right now.
Blacks in, we honor Al Green, born April 13, 1946, in Forest City, Arkansas, a legendary soul singer whose voice helped define a generation. Rising from humble beginnings, he transformed gospel roots into timeless soul classics that shaped music history. With hits like Let's Stay Together, he brought emotion, passion, and spiritual depth to every performance. His influence extended beyond music as he later became a pastor, blending faith and artistry into his legacy. Al Green's sound continues to inspire artists across genres, proving that true soul never fades. See you next time on Blacks In.
Listen, you know what? Every time I play a Blacks In, it just aligns with the message for the day. the morning brew today. So today's theme for morning brew is say it anyway. Your voice matters. And that's exactly what Al Green does through song.
He definitely threw it. He definitely did do it when I remember him. I just every time it makes me smile because the fact that he's 80 years old now just really surprises me. But "Tired of Being Alone" was one of his other popular. "Still in Love with You." Of
Yes.
course, we all know "Let's Stay Together." And
Yes.
Avery, also one of the things too, he was definitely an activist because we were having a lot of minority issues, black issues back then. And so, of course, the tape told you that he was born in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you want to leave with him uh, is that there was a lot of things going on that he was involved in Arkansas. So a lot of the singers and people that you see that Black Sam will have done or doing will bring forth to you. You will see that their involvement in growing and developing our community was really front and center. And so he was ordained a pastor after some ordeals in 1976. I didn't know he had been a pastor that long as well. And he decided, I don't know for what reason, he never really gave an explanation for it. He went back and went with and into soul music with Annie Lennox back in '88. And so and one of the things that you can take with Al Green, he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he's also in Gospel Music Hall of Fame. He won a Grammy. The guy's outstanding. Lovely
Absolutely.
voice. I still, when we
That's
get off, I'm gonna be playing some Al Green. So, but
that's it.
and so that's one of the things. And when I heard you this morning talk about purpose, and when I look at Al Green, all these people without purpose, without knowing your Black history, who you are, and stuff, purpose is sort of hard to feel. Um,
Absolutely.
and so what it does, it helps you build an identity, knowing who you are. It helps shape your sense of purpose. And I was just sitting here thinking, she's talking about purpose. She's talking about your identity.
That's right.
She's talking about your pride. And how can you have that without having these elements? And so it won't be so difficult to see what is my purpose, because we all want to know what our purpose is. And it's a
Absolutely.
little challenging if you don't have all the necessary ingredients together to make that understanding clear, to make that picture clear. And our people see role models when we're talking about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they see role models, and then you see a role model, you start thinking, oh, I can do this. I love that in a child, you know. And so Al Green brings something to the table. He had a vision. He sought out his vision. He went and he completed it. He's still working, by the way. But understanding who you are
Yeah,
and
you
is
know, when I
really
think
important.
about, you said he's 80 years old. Hold on. I think I'm freezing
Yes.
up. Okay. I'm sorry. I think I was having a little technical difficulties because my screen I still see is freezing. Let's try to bring it up. Okay, yes, it is freezing. So, okay, let's try this. Yes. Let's see. Okay. Wow. Thanks, Leslie. That did work. All right, Teresa. I am so sorry, but thank you so much for keeping that beautiful smile up on the screen while we were experiencing some freezing. So, but I was gonna say regarding Al Green, you stated that he's 80 years old, he's still working, he's still building legacy, and what a rich legacy that he will leave behind for us. So when you are able to find your purpose early on, it makes it a lot easier to pour into it to build legacy, and that's exactly what he's doing. So we can still enjoy the words, his voice, his message, even long after he's no longer with us. So, our Blacks in Fact, Al Green, you
Well, Al
know,
Green, I don't think Al Green wants to go anywhere anytime soon.
listen,
So,
I don't blame him. Neither do I.
uh, but he's a very resilient man, which is one of the other requirements for finding your purpose.
Yes,
Yeah, that you talked about. I just feel like that blends so much into what we need to do. So, because I do have people asking me why I need to know all this Black history, and they
wow.
Black, you know, and they
So,
said,
how do you answer that? How do you respond to that?
well, I'm gonna give the real conservative side. Um, but one
Listen,
of
we want to
the
know the real raw side.
but one of the things that I say is that when you never can fulfill your full potential if you don't know who you are. Just because you grew up in an environment where you didn't have issues, financial issues, economic issues, you no matter your skin tone is the same as mine, and you're going to
Absolutely.
walk in those rooms, and you're not going to be given an opportunity. Are you going to miss out on an opportunity? Are you going to be? I mean, even Gates, Henry Louis Gates, got arrested for going in his own house,
Exactly.
and so not knowing who you are, never you will never be able to fulfill your maximum purpose in life. So you could, yes, you're doing great right now, you're doing good right now, but just imagine if you didn't have all those elements hanging over your head. And he
Hmm.
said, well, what am I have hanging? So I named a few of things that he have shared in the past
Hmm.
that have stunted his growth in the business arena. And then you're talking about people. I share with him all the journalists that was let go because people don't want to deal with them. Look at all the heads that letting all the Black people go because of their rank. And so these people didn't have the issues that a lot of people have, but they let go. But see, if you become blind to what's around you because you think you got it all together, it creates a problem for you, particular long term. Um,
Absolutely.
and so that's what so he start looking and seeing things that he have just
Value.
written off and became blind to.
Hmm.
He didn't, he complains to me about having to work under someone that he's more qualified than. They got the promotion opposed to him. And you didn't see that as a problem.
Wow.
And so you have to sort of try to bring it back into people because like I told a guy, I believe that every Black person knows someone that has been incarcerated. And
Hmm.
he said, no, I know no one. And I said, well, I think that's not true because you work in the football industry, and and Michael Vick has been incarcerated.
Exactly.
I think he was wrongly incarcerated, but he has been
Absolutely.
incarcerated. You know him, but I believe, and so these things, we're the only race where things happen to us and in a massive amount where other races other races literally may not know anyone that went to prison. They may not know anyone in their family that have been shot. You know,
Immediate connection, you know, and he was probably looking at it from that standpoint. But your question was, you probably know someone.
yeah.
You didn't say if it was immediate family or extended or just, relationships that you're in. So,
Oh, I did.
but
I did explain to him. And
yeah,
if you know somebody black that have been to prison,
exactly. You
yeah.
generalized it, and in his
Mhm.
mind, he was probably just thinking family wise, right? Immediate or something.
But there's things that happen in our race that does not happen in other races, and
Absolutely.
and that is a system thing that we need to actually correct, and we can do it, but we got to continue to unify, like we're doing now.
Absolutely. I love the fact Blacks In is such a powerful piece, is such a powerful body of work. And, you know, I just saw something that came across a feed. I think it may be Instagram, YouTube, something like that. And a gentleman was commentating on an Asian woman that was talking about the power of who we are as Black people.
Right.
And so it always seems that it's other cultures that get an understanding of who we are versus we as a people getting an understanding of people that look like us, their contributions. You know what? Think about this. I saw a movie called A Day Without a Mexican, right? It was a movie. People can't function, but it made me think, could they really function without us? When we look at what our hands have done, have how we have built this country, even on a global level, the inventions that have come through Black people, the contributions to all areas, math, science, all areas, Black people, where would this world be without us? So
Well,
the problem is we need to know our power. That's why Blacks in these facts are so crucial. It's literally a few moments in your day to get a fact about something you may not have known about. And don't just put it on the children. That's what I'm finding. Oh, the kids really need this. No, we as adults, we really need this. Do you
yes.
know I learned so much from these facts?
Yes, we definitely the one that need it, because we're the one that feed our kids to pass it on, and that's and you would be really surprised to know how little our parents know.
Mhm.
When I do the older groups, if I do a training or a work session with the older group about Black history, I don't want to say how stunned I am that they don't know basic thing. That's why when I created Black Tech, I created that book because I wanted kids to be able to identify with things that they use every day. That's the reason why I created
Hold
it.
on, I'm sorry, Teresa. Sorry. Okay, we trying this again. Sorry.
Oh, no problem at all.
All right, we trying to get this
I don't know if you can hear me. So, Germaine, I'm going to keep talking because I don't know if your audience can hear me. And um, so, your purpose, one of your the purpose for your purpose. it's important to have an identity. It's important to have pride. It's important to have role models. It's important to be responsible and be resilient. Having those components make it easier for you to find and develop your purpose. So Black history for me, actually it's a daily activity. It's a daily activity for me. I want to get up. Of course, I read my Bible, but I learn Black facts and read different things too. Because we have done some marvelous things for this whole country, for the world. And I will, as I continue to write books on that, I will continue to showcase the greatness within, and people can start feeling what we have done. You know, it's like I always talk about, we had COVID in the house, but very seldom do people talk about Marion Croak. They created voice over IP, which we know is Zoom, and so we're doing some things like Mark Dean, the color monitor. When I used the monitor was black and white. We had to draw in our graphs and our charts. We had to draw those things in. So there's a lot of things that we have done, you know, from the from the Ford, which, you know, I drive a Mustang, and I was just really taken back about the history of Ford. And Patterson, which was the first car dealer, African American car manufacturer, and Ford took a lot of his information, and his things were dismantled and, you know, basically filed bankrupt. But, you know, the Ford product came from Patterson. So we have a lot of history that we can do. And Germaine's not back, so I'm just going to keep talking because she may come back. We didn't really have much more to say. What I like to see in alignment with what we're talking about. But if you can get a child to be exposed to their passion early, and that means they engaged with things at home, you know, helping you cook, even doing the chores, measuring things. When you do those kind of things, those things help a kid to find their purpose. When you can put the detergent and blow bubbles, they're trying to figure out what that is. If you have them, I don't think people use this too much anymore, but if you have ice trays and you put it in as liquid and it comes out as solid, you know, kids be thinking, what happened there? Why did that happen? You know, and so there's many things that a child can learn. And when you take it, for me, if I throw away a blouse, when I had kids at home, I throw away a blouse, I cut the buttons off. And so there's a lot of things. Germaine, I just kept talking because I didn't know if they could hear me. You know? So.
Thank you. You know what? I had to come out. Let me do something and see if it. Oh no, that's not. Hey y'all. I had to come out and come on my phone because I got a message. Xfinity, there is an outage in my area. So all the internet is down in my area. But thank God for our phones. Thank God for carrying the show. I love it.
I just said, let me just keep talking. And
thank you.
You know, I could talk black all day, but I didn't want to get off too far.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's anyway. I just went back and reviewed why purpose is so important.
Yeah.
And things like that. So hopefully your guests was okay with that.
No, I'm quite sure they were, but I appreciate you so much for carrying the show. You know, listen, I tend to, when I have these issues, now I'm a little hot because I literally just came over to Xfinity, and already we have issues like this. I mean, I just saw a message that said there is a power outage in your area. And I'm just like, what? What's going on? But thank you. Thank you so much. So, well, let me ask you this. Is there anything else you want to say? Because we could just, we could wrap up Morning Brew with our guest, Teresa, and wrap up our show because I need to figure out what's going on with my internet.
Well, that was pretty much it for me today. Of course, I love myself some Al Green, and
yes,
so, and I think the most intriguing thing for me is when you start learning about these great singers and their involvement, of equality.
mm-hmm.
Has been really profound for me. I'm like, okay, I thought they were just out there singing and making money and things like that, but they fight for our people. And
Absolutely.
I'm just so proud that so many of our people are learning, and that's the reason why I love going and lecturing with people, because I see them engaged, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
know that. That's why it's important for me to read too. I want to make sure I got all my stuff together before I get there. So
Absolutely. Well, listen, like I said, you have a beautiful you have a beautiful purpose right now. You have a heart for our young people, for our adults, just for our people to gain the knowledge, to know who they are and where they're from. So I appreciate you so much. And I'm glad that you're lending your voice over here to Morning Brew with Germaine. And anytime you can come, I always say, come hijack the show.
So thank you so much for having me, Germaine. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, anytime. Well, you know what? Before you go, I'm just gonna wrap up the show real quick because we're gonna figure out what this problem is. But for all those out there that are watching, that stay connected, thank you so much. It's starting to become a habit, it seems like, with these network companies, because I'm tired of always saying that we're having difficulties.
I made a joke. I made a self joke when your internet went out. I said she must have got Elon Musk internet. The Stargate, I think, is what it's called.
That's funny.
And if you don't do what he says, he just disconnects you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anyway.
Maybe we talking too much about Black people.
That could be a problem too for a lot of.
That could be a problem.
Yes.
That could be a problem. So I do want to say this before we go. I want to leave 2 questions with everybody. What have you been holding back from saying and why? That's number 1. Number 2, what would happen if you gave yourself permission to speak anyway? That's the second question I want to leave with you. So,
okay.
In our final sip, the reflection questions is something for you to just answer on your own when you're by yourself. But I just want to say, to wrap it up, in our final sip, your voice doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be present. Somebody is waiting on what you have been holding back. So you know how we do. We sit bold, we speak up, and we say it anyway. So listen. Make sure you stop by tomorrow for coffee and conversation. The internet should be back up. I don't know what's going on in the area, but we're going to figure this out. But thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day. Teresa, I appreciate you. And you know what? Monday will be here in no time.
That's true.
So I will talk to you soon. Have a great day, okay?
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.